the Town Council public meeting for December 20th, 2022. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance and moment of silence. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. It's always wonderful.
There's God calling.
Roll call.
Robert Jernigan.
Here.
John Foreman.
Present.
Julie Rivera. Here. Ralph Miller.
Present.
Colleen Stevens. Here. Richard Sharp.
Here.
Randy Niemeyer.
Present.
I am present. Chris Gladys.
Present.
David Oshton.
Present. We have a quorum. We start this evening with the presentation of awards for Corporal Richard Pennington, Police Department, Battalion Chief James Schultz, Fire Department, Chief Fisher, Chief Wilkening.
Thank you, council members. Council members, on November 29th, 2022, the Cedar Lake Police Department and Cedar Lake Fire Department received a call that we dread the most. A 7-month-old child was seizing and parents did not know what to do. As officers and EMS were being dispatched, Southcom advised that the child had been dealing with a fever for the last 7 days. First on scene was Corporal Richard Pennington. Corporal Pennington stated that as he exited his vehicle grabbing items he may need, the father ran out of the house stating his daughter's not breathing. Corporal Pennington entered a residence to find the mother with the child on the floor with the baby. Corporal Pennington asked the mother if he could take her, laid her up on the kitchen table. Observing that the child was still not breathing, Corporal Pennington began cardiopulmonary resuscitation, or CPR. Corporal Pennington continued CPR while Cedar Lake EMS were en route to the scene. Cedar Lake EMS had been dispatched to 2 separate calls that evening and were short-staffed at that time, so Battalion Chief James Schultz arrived on scene with the ambulance alone. Corporal Pennington picked up the child and ran into the ambulance where Chief Schultz was waiting for him in the back. They continued CPR and Battalion Chief Schultz placed an ammo bag on the child's mouth to assist the breathing. It was at that point that the child began to breathe again on its own and regain a heartbeat. Council members, Chief Wilkie and I are here tonight to present Corporal Richard Pennington and Battalion Chief Schultz, Chief James Schultz, with the Life-Saving Award. Chief Wilkie and I feel that without their persistence, knowledge, and their never-quit attitude, the 2 emergency service employees saved the life of this child. It is my pleasure to introduce to you Corporal Richard Pennington and Battalion Chief James Schultz. Council members, we're presenting both Corporal Pennington and Chief Schultz with a plaque that says Life-Saving Award. We hereby honor Corporal Richard Pennington, and that one says Battalion Chief Schultz of the Cedar Lake Police Department and Cedar Lake Fire Department in recognition of their outstanding performance and swift and professional actions which led to the saving of a human life on November 29th, 2022. Your heroic efforts will always be remembered. Congratulations, ladies. Yep. Good job. Yeah.
That's scary stuff, boy.
Yeah, 7-month-old.
Crazy. Unbelievable.
Stop saying that, don't I? It's a month old. Congratulations this year. You can get him. Okay. You can have it. Very good. Yeah, congratulations. Yeah. We're going to take a quick picture. You okay with that? Want to hop in?
I can get out of the way or...
Come on. Come on.
Get in there,
I want to ruin it.
You guys come on. It's your crew. Jimmy's crew here.
We can have someone back there take a picture, I promise. That lady right there's got a really professional camera. Hold on one second.
I view 1, 2, 3.
Hold on one second, hold on. There we go.
All right, now let's get one with their crew. Is there any other officers here? Let's get their crew.
I think it's really going to be okay.
Ready?
1, 2.
Okay,
Oh, 1, 2.
That's the whole crew that was out that night running calls while this other call came on, so. They were all tied up on 3 animals.
Council, we presented them with certificates at the Board of Safety meeting. We do have a couple of Board of Safety members here tonight for that, so.
Challenge with it sometimes.
No, it's good.
Better than kindly, but.
Need something, Carl?
Yeah.
No, I just,
Oh, okay.
sorry. It'll be,
I know that you guys don't sign up for the job for the accolades, but it's good when you do things like this, that it's recognized. I think it's so important for the community to understand what an important role that you play, so thank you for your service and saving a child's life. That's something will have a lasting impact on the community, so great job.
yeah, I would agree to that, and I would say this, if Tom Skilling's right, you guys all be safe, and thanks in advance for the hard work you're gonna do the next 48 hours. If Tom Skilling's right.
I'd also like to thank two of our commissioners are here in support tonight. Josh Gilbert and Jim Altuff. Thank you for coming, guys.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much.
All right, we start with election of officers and appointments for year 2023. So election of town council officers for 2023, town council president. Are there any nominations?
I'd like to nominate Rick Sharp to be town
We
council
have a
president.
nomination of Rick Sharp. Any other nominations? Second call, or third call for nominations. Nominations are closed. We'll go to town council vice president. Are there any nominations for town council vice president?
I'd like to nominate John Foreman.
John Foreman's been nominated. Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Third call for nominations. Nominations are closed. Is there a motion by the council to approve the slate of town council president Richard Sharp and town council vice president John Foreman for year 2023?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Colleen. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Rivera. Questions or discussion? Roll call.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
John Foreman?
Yes.
Ralph Miller?
Yes.
Colleen Scheeben?
Yes.
Richard Sharp?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Randy Neimeyer?
Yes, carry 7-0. Congratulations.
Thank you, Randy. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you for doing it.
Or
Yes,
I'm
thank
sorry.
you.
Thanks, Randy.
Yeah, that might be more.
Number 2 is town council liaison and committee member appointments. We're going to go through this, open the floor for nominations, go through the whole slate here. So what we have here is Plan Commission. Who are the nominees?
Hey, Randy, I just texted everybody the photo, but why don't we just have maybe Chris read the
Okay.
nominees, and then we
That's
can
fine.
read,
Well,
approve it
mention
into record.
what the board or committee is and the people on the slate, and then I'll ask for nominations to be closed at that point.
Okay. Plan Commission, 3 appointments. Councilman Carnahan, Foreman, and Sharp. Board of Safety Commission, Councilman Miller. Unsafe Building, Councilman Scheeben.
What's your question, Ralph?
We were going to appoint 2 people, Nick Recupero also to the Board of Safety.
My apologies, it was not reflected on this. Two. So Councilman Recupero will also be appointed as liaison to the Board of Safety. Going back to 1 appointment for the Stormwater Management Board will be Councilman Carnahan. Joint Management Oversight Board, 2 appointments, Councilman Miller and Councilman Sharp. Northwest Indiana Regional Planning Commission, 1 appointment, Councilman Carnahan. Lake County Solid Waste, 1 appointment, Councilman Recupero. South County Community Services, 1 appointment, Councilman Miller.
That's Lake County Community Service.
Let the record reflect that. Ecosystem Restoration Committee, 3 appointments, Councilman Rivera, Foreman, and Miller. Public Works and Safety, 3 appointments, Councilman Recupero, Rivera, and Miller. Parks and Recreation, 3 appointments, Councilman Scheeben, Sharp, and Miller. Council Affairs, 3 appointments, Councilman Scheeben, Miller, and Sharp. Streets, 3 appointments, Councilman Carnahan, Foreman, and Sharp.
Planning Committee, 3 appointments, Councilman Carnahan, Foreman, and Sharp.
Thank you. Is there a motion by the council to close the nominations?
I would make a motion to close the nominations.
Okay, motion by Mr. Foreman, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Rivera, discussion? Roll call?
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
John Foreman?
Yes?
Ralph Miller?
Yes.
Colleen Scheven?
Yes.
Richard Sharp?
Yes.
Julia Rivera?
Yes.
Randy Neimeyer?
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Is there a motion to
Who
approve
made the motion and second on that?
I made the motion to
Duly
close.
second.
Uh,
Duly
Mr.
seconded.
Mr. Chairman, I'd also like to make a motion to approve what, all the town council liaison and committee member appointments as read in the record by town manager Chris.
Thank you. Motion by Mr. Foreman, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Sheehan, discussion? Roll call?
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
John Foreman?
Yes.
Ralph Miller?
Yes.
Colleen Scheven?
Yes.
Richard Sharp?
Yes.
Julia Rivera?
Yes.
Randy Neimeyer?
Yes, carries 7-0. Now, appointments to boards and commissions. We're going to go individually through these. We have one appointment to be made to the Board of Safety. Are there any nominations?
I nominate Charlie Caper.
Charlie Caper's been nominated. Any other nominations? Any other nominations?
I'll nominate Adam.
Adam Warnoff has been nominated. So we need to have a vote on this one. All right, so, there are no other nominations. Nominations are closed. All right, roll call vote for Charlie Caper.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
John Foreman?
Yes.
Ralph Miller?
Yes.
Colleen Scheven?
No.
Richard Sharp?
Yes.
Julia Rivera?
Yes.
Randy Neimeyer?
Yes. 6 for Charlie Caper, yes, 1 no. Okay, for Adam Warnoff, vote please, roll call.
Robert Carnahan?
No.
John Foreman?
No.
Ralph Miller?
Yes. I can't.
Do anything you want, Ralph. Do anything you want. You can have a full vote.
Can you?
I don't think, but it depends if it's the winner.
You can only appoint one.
Majority.
You can only appoint one.
So we're going with the no.
No.
Colleen Scheven?
Yes.
Richard Sharp?
No.
Julia Rivera?
No.
Randy Neimeyer?
No, Charlie has 6 yeses to Adam's 1 yes, so Charlie is appointed. Next is Charlie is the nominee, I should say. Next is the Board of Zoning Appeals. We have 2 vacancies to fill. One of them, a term that hasn't expired of Nick Recuperdo, and the other will be the term that's currently was served by Jeff Fungi, I believe. Are there any nominations?
I nominate Eric Burnham and Greg Parker. Both.
Well, is Greg, we got a citizen appointment.
Yeah, Greg would be the Plan Commission appointee.
Yeah, but
Eric
that we
would be
do
the-
this.
I
think that's the last one on this
Yes,
list.
that's the last one.
So this
Oh,
would
the
be
Board of Zoning.
This is the citizen
Eric
appointment.
and Jeff.
Oh, B and Z. Okay, Eric and Jeff, sorry about that.
So Eric Burnham and Jeff Fungi, are there any other nominations?
I have a question.
Yes,
So for the BZA, one is Nick's spot and one is an expiring term?
yes.
There's no one being removed?
Correct.
Okay.
Are there any other nominations? Third and final call for nominations. Nominations for BZA are closed. All right, those are our nominees, of Eric and Jeff. Let's go back and close the Board of Safety with our nominee. Is there a motion to approve Charlie Caper as the appointee of the Board of Safety?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Sharp, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Rivera, discussion? Roll call.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
John Foreman?
Yes.
Ralph Miller?
Yes.
Colleen Scheven?
Yes.
Richard Sharp?
Yes.
Julia Rivera?
Yes.
Randy Neimeyer?
Yes, carry 7-0. Second item, Board of Zoning Appeals. Is there a motion to approve the appointment of Eric Burnham and Jeff Fungi as BZA members?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Foreman, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Sharp, discussion? Roll call.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
John Foreman?
Yes.
Ralph Miller?
Yes.
Colleen Scheven?
Yes.
Richard Sharp?
Yes.
Julia Rivera?
Yes.
Randy Neimeyer?
No, motion carries 6-1. Park Board, we have one appointment, one opening, I should say. Is there a nominee?
I nominate Paul Rodriguez.
Any other nominees? Any other? Closed. Is there a motion by the council to seat Paul Rodriguez on the park board?
Make the motion.
Motion by Ms. Sheehan, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Carnahan. Discussion. Roll call.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
John Foreman?
Yes.
Ralph Miller?
Yes.
Colleen Scheven?
Yes.
Richard Sharp?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Randy Nemeyer?
Yes, carries 7-0. Stormwater Board is 1. Are there any nominees? Are there any nominees for Stormwater Board?
I nominate, Mr. Lysick,
Yes.
Ryan Lissick?
or Ryan, sorry, Ryan Lysick.
Any other nominees? Nominations are closed. Is there a motion by the council to seat Ryan Lissick on the Stormwater Board?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Carnahan, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Foreman, discussion. Roll call.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
John Foreman?
Yes.
Ralph Miller?
Yes.
Colleen Scheven?
Yes.
Richard Sharp?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Randy Nemeyer?
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Unsafe Building Department, 1 opening. Are there any nominees?
I nominate James Hunley.
Nomination of Jim Hundley. Is there any other nominations? Any other nominations? Nominations are closed. Is there a motion by the council to seat James Hundley on the unsafe building?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Carnahan. Is there a second? Who's second that?
I did.
Seconded by Ms. Sheehan. Discussion? Roll call.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
John Foreman?
Yes.
Ralph Miller?
Yes.
Colleen Scheven?
Yes.
Richard Sharp?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Randy Nemeyer?
Yes, carries 7-0. Now we have a council appointment to the BZA. Are there any nominees?
I nominate Craig Parker to the council appointment to the
There's a nomination of Greg Parker. Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Nominations are closed. Is there a motion to seat Greg Parker to the BZA as the council appointment?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Sharp. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second Sheehan. Discussion? Roll call.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
John Foreman?
Yes.
Ralph Miller?
Yes.
Colleen Scheven?
Yes.
Richard Sharp?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Randy Nemeyer?
Yes, carries 7-0. Appointment of council members as members of the redevelopment commission. Is there a motion to appoint the council as redevelopment commission members, but please make that motion also with the officers of the redevelopment commission attached to it. So who's gonna be the chair, the vice, and the secretary?
I make a motion to approve the appointment of council members to the RDC and also to appoint John Foreman as the president, Rick Sharp as the vice, and Ralph Miller as the secretary.
We have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Sharp, discussion? Roll call.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
John Foreman?
Yes.
Ralph Miller?
Yes.
Colleen Scheven?
Yes.
Richard Sharp?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Randy Nemeyer?
Yes, carry 7-0. Next item is appointment of council members, wards, and at-large positions. Again, this is part of the redistricting. We cut it down to 5 wards and 2 at-large. Is there a motion by the council on who will serve in which wards?
Why would this have to be, is that typical?
We just did a redistricting where, for instance, you're serving in Ward 2.
Right.
You will no longer, Ward 2 is now the new Ward 3, no. It's still Ward 2.
It's a new Julie Ward.
But Ward 2 would now have Julie and John both in it. So
Right.
somebody has to be the at-large and someone has to be the
Well,
ward.
since she, for
Just one
example,
election.
but this really doesn't have to happen until the new year, that's my point. Doesn't it?
Will help staff clarify when we go through
Oh,
documentation.
so that we January 1, we know?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so that way you can update the website, you can make sure there's no confusion.
Gotcha. I would nominate Julie for the ward.
Well, you can make a motion and list the members by their wards if you would like. The motion can be formulated in a way where you go, Ward 1 is
Yeah.
X, Ward 2 is, and so on, and then name the at-large as well. And that motion can then be seconded and considered.
So Bob, you're present Ward 1, you have not changed, right?
Right.
Ward 2 is John, but that, I'm no longer, it's now Julie and/or John, based on geographical location.
It'd be Julie.
Okay, Ward-
Make a motion with one of them.
Yeah. So I'd make a motion for Ward 1 to nominate Bob, or should we just do them all, like you just mentioned?
Go through the list.
Okay.
Listed.
So Ward 1, Bob, Ward 2, Julie, Ward 3 would be Ralph,
No, Nick.
or Nick, rather.
Yep.
Ward 4 would be
Ralph?
Ralph, and Ward 5 would be Colleen.
Okay, and that would leave you and Rick as the at-large.
And the 2 at-large would be John Foreman and Rick Sharp.
Okay, that's your motion?
That's my motion.
Thank you, sir. Second.
I'll second.
Motion and second. Discussion? Roll call.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
John Foreman?
Yes.
Ralph Miller?
Yes.
Colleen Scheven?
Yes.
Richard Sharp?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Randy Neemeyer?
Yes, carries 7-0. Let the games begin.
Thank you, John, I didn't want to have to campaign again.
You didn't want to campaign again?
No, I didn't.
You were pretty good at it.
Yeah.
We have
Especially
public
your song.
comment on agenda items.
Your song.
Second call for public comment on agenda items. Third call. Public comments closed. We have our consent agenda, the town grounds use approval for the beach, Lions Den, and restrooms. Moto on Ice event days January 1, 8, February 2, 15, 22, 29, 1, 8. January 1, January 8, a 2 is in there for some reason. January 15, 22, 29, February 5, 12, 19, 26, weather permitting. Note they will set up on Saturdays prior to the Sundays with an event. Item B is Hanover School Education Foundation Annual Penguin Plop, March 5th, 2023. Claims all town funds, $1,081,160.84. Wastewater operating, $157,244.99. Water utility, $180,679.82. Stormwater, $58,068.22. Payroll for 12/8/2022 of $368,535.87, and November remittances of $179,177.45, and the manual journal entries for November 1, 2022 through November 30, 2022. Is there a motion to accept and waive the reading of the minutes and accept the consent agenda as listed?
I'll make the motion to accept.
Thank you. Motion by Ms. Shevens, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Miller. Discussion. Roll call.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
John Foreman?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Ralph Miller?
Yes.
Colleen Scheven?
Yes.
Richard Sharp?
Yes.
Randy Neemeyer?
Yes, carries 7-0. Ordinances and resolutions. Item 1 is ordinance 1436. This is the second reading of 2023 salary ordinance. A reminder that there will be subsequent amendments to be considered on their own merit. Mr. Sharp, read ordinance 1436 by its title, please.
Ordinance number 1436, an ordinance amending town salary ordinance number 1400, establishing jobs and salaries to be paid certain offices, positions, and jobs within the town of Cedar Lake for the year 2023, and repealing all ordinances or parts thereof in conflict therewith.
Thank you. You've heard the second reading of ordinance 1436. Is there a motion to adopt?
I would like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 1436, 2023 salary ordinance, second reading as amended for the department heads. I believe that would be the department heads that I'm referring to would be the Director of Ops as well as IT. Is that correct, Mr. Salatas?
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you. There's a motion by Mr. Foreman, second by Ms. Sheehan. Discussion. Roll call.
Robert Carnahan?
No.
John Foreman?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Ralph Miller?
Yes.
Colleen Scheven?
Yes.
Richard Sharp?
Yes.
Randy Neemeyer?
Yes, motion carries 6-1. Item 2 is ordinance 1440. It's an ordinance to amend and create job descriptions. Item A is amending the technology director job description. Item B is the creating the part-time division chief of the Marine Unit job description for the division. Mr. Sharp by its title, and Mr. Salatas explanation, please.
Ordinance number 1440, an ordinance amending town ordinance number 1064, being an ordinance establishing job employment descriptions for the town of Cedar Lake, repealing all ordinances and town code sections or portions thereof, in conflict herewith, and all matters related hereto. Amending the job descriptions of full-time technology director job positions and creating a part-time division chief for the Marine Unit position for the town and all matters related thereto.
Thank you, Mr. Salatas.
The part-time division chief of the Marine Unit job description was amended following comments from the town manager and the clerk treasurer. The technology director job description is moving the job, or the position under the town manager's purview to reflect the salary ordinance that was just passed.
Thank you. You've heard the first reading of ordinance 1440 and an explanation. Is there a motion to approve the reading?
I'll make a motion to approve the reading.
Thank you. Motion by Ms. Sheba. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Rivera. Discussion? Roll call.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
John Foreman?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Ralph Miller?
Yes.
Colleen Scheven?
Yes.
Richard Sharp?
Yes.
Randy Neemeyer?
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Is there a motion to suspend the rules?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Miller, second by Mr. Foreman. Discussion? Roll call.
That was Ralph and John,
Yep.
correct? Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
John Foreman?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Ralph Miller?
Yes.
Colleen Scheven?
Yes.
Richard Sharp?
Yes.
Randy Neemeyer?
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Second reading of ordinance 1440 by its title, please, Mr. Sharp.
Ordinance number 1440, an ordinance amending town ordinance number 1064, being an ordinance establishing job employment descriptions for the town of Cedar Lake, repealing all ordinances and town code sections or portions thereof in conflict herewith, and all matters related thereto. Amending the job descriptions of the full-time technology director job position and creating a part-time division chief of the Marine Unit position for the town, and all matters related thereto.
Thank you. You've heard the second reading of ordinance 1440. Is there a motion to adopt?
I'll make the motion to adopt.
Motion by Ms. Sheba. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Sharp. Discussion? Roll call.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
John Foreman?
Yes.
Julie Rivera? Ralph Miller?
Yes.
Colleen Scheven?
Yes.
Richard Sharp?
Yes.
Randy Neemeyer?
Yes, carries 7-0. Item 3 is ordinance 1441, 2023 salary ordinance amendment. Mr. Sharp, by its title, please, Mr. Slot's explanation.
Ordinance number 1441, an ordinance amending town salary ordinance number 1436, establishing jobs and salaries to be paid certain offices, positions, and jobs within the town of Cedar Lake for the calendar year 2023, and repealing all ordinances or parts thereof in conflict therewith.
Thank you, Mr. Slottis.
This is an amendment to the salary ordinance that was just passed to give the battalion chiefs a reflective 8.07% raise for 2023.
Thank you. Is there a motion by the council on the first reading of ordinance 1441 to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Sharp. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Foreman. Discussion? Roll call.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
John Foreman?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Ralph Miller?
Yes.
Colleen Scheven?
Yes.
Richard Sharp?
Yes.
Randy Neemeyer?
No. Motion carries 6-1. You'll have a second reading at your next meeting. Item 4 is ordinance 1442, enacting a supplement to the town code of ordinances. Mr. Sharp, by its title, please.
Ordinance number 1442, an ordinance adopting and enacting a supplement to the code of ordinance of the town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana.
Thank you. Who wants it? Dave?
Standard fare. This codifies and updates our codification for our codes.
Thank you. There a motion by the council to approve ordinance 1442 on first reading.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Foreman. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Sharp. Discussion. Roll call.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
John Foreman?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Ralph Miller?
Yes.
Colleen Scheven?
Yes.
Richard Sharp?
Yes.
Randy Neemeyer?
Yes, carries 7-0. Is there a motion to suspend the rules?
I'll make the motion to suspend the rules.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Sharp, first by Ms. Sheehan. Discussion? Roll call.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
John Foreman?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Ralph Miller?
Yes.
Colleen Scheven?
Yes.
Richard Sharp?
Yes.
Randy Neemeyer?
Yes, 7-0. Second reading of ordinance 1442 by its title. Mr. Sharp.
Ordinance number 1442, an ordinance adopting and enacting a supplement to the code of ordinances of the town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana.
Thank you. Second reading of ordinance 1442. Is there a motion to adopt?
I'll make the motion to adopt.
Motion by Mr. Miller. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Sharp. Discussion. Roll call.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
John Foreman?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Ralph Miller?
Yes.
Colleen Scheven?
Yes.
Richard Sharp?
Yes.
Randy Neiman?
Yes, carry 7-0. BZA Plan Commission, item 1 is extensions of letters of credit for Summer Winds Development LLC. Item A is Summer Winds Unit 2 to December 20th, 2023, in the amount of $279,817.13. Item B is Summer Winds Unit 3 to December 23rd, 2023, in the amount of $14,575.48. Is there a motion by the council to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Carnahan, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Sheehan, discussion? Roll call.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
John Foreman?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Ralph Miller?
Yes.
Colleen Scheven?
Yes.
Richard Sharp?
Yes.
Randy Neiman?
Yes, motion carries 7-0.
Chris, when do those come through? Just
Yeah.
this week?
Yeah,
At the wire?
yeah, and thank you for approving them because they expire Friday.
Yeah, I thought that was coming up. Thank you.
New business is approval of Board of Zoning Appeals meeting time change for year 2023 from 6 PM to 6:30 PM.
Make a motion to approve the Board of Zoning Appeals meeting time change from 6 to 6:30 PM.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Sharp, second by Mr. Foreman. Discussion? Roll call.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
John Foreman?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Ralph Miller?
Yes.
Colleen Scheven?
Yes.
Richard Sharp?
Yes.
Randy Neiman?
Yes, carry 7-0. Item 2 is adoption of strategic plan, a little introduction. Some years ago, we had folks from Ball State come in here and help us develop a strategic plan that was kind of a 10,000-foot view of everything. We used it to kind of get some things off the ground. In 2020, I worked on a set of strategic objectives that I thought we needed to kind of get from that 10,000-foot view down into actionable items. We assigned things to people, and we held people accountable. We've checked a lot of that off the list. This year, I've been working with Chris on updating that to get us a working document here for this council, to work with the town manager, the staff, so everybody's kind of pulling the same rope here. So with that, I will turn it over to Chris for presentation of the strategic objectives, and then the council will be able to consider for adoption as your roadmap to move forward.
Do you want me to read through it exactly, or hit the highlights?
You can summarize things.
Summarize through the emergency or first responders. We have a consideration for mental health, staffing needs based off of creation of five-year plans, as well as five-year capital plans, vehicle rotation and replacement plans that we'll need to create for the fire department, undertaking a staffing plan for 2 stations, including possible consideration of future substations, namely for an ambulance. Facilities currently underway, as you are aware. Public Works, same thing, working on 5-year staffing plans and capital plans, as well as vehicle rotation plans and replacement, as well as reviewing the needs for skills and certification within the department. Facilities, we will need to consider and review a needed Public Works building and/or campus, and review a possible location for such. Under the building department, consider staffing, again, creation of 5-year plans, and specifically for this one, training for the current staff, namely in code enforcement, inspections, and MS4. Consider technology upgrades to make workflow more efficient with the clerk's office and Public Works Department staff that will be interacting with that department. In the administration, again, considering a 5-year plans for staffing and capital needs. Facilities, begin planning for a new town hall that will be needed with the increased staff that we have. Implementation of technology to increase workflow, and creation of a HR sub-department to handle needs for our employment. See how we're increasingly adding new staff seemingly by the month. Moving on to the utilities, we have on page 3, we go into a general overview, which again goes into the creation of 5-year plans through the stormwater, water, sewer, review of those 5-year plans that will be tied to possible rate increases, so justification for those rates. As you know, we passed a budget for the utilities, which is the first time that's been done in quite some time. I believe Sue will speak to that shortly after my presentation, but we need to tie those 5-year capital plans. We need to manage the budgets going forward in the utilities and make sure that we're efficiently spending the money in those departments and effectively doing so. So that way we can continue capital expansion on much-needed infrastructure as we plan for community growth on the south side of the community, specifically through the 41 corridor and the commercial investment that we're expecting in that area. Our utilities are going to need to be able to meet not only our residential demands, but the demands of potential high-use commercial development. Roads, consideration of a road impact fee, again, creation of 5-year capital plans, so that way we can have a rolling list a few years out for road projects we plan to undertake, so that way we can budget within our budget where that money is going to come from, how we're properly meeting the Community Crossroads Matching Grant effectively every year. Ideally, the state will add an additional layer of Community Crossroads Matching Grant. We want to be able to meet that grant at its full capacity or as much as we can annually, so that way we're effectively using the taxpayers' dollars effectively, and we also need the utilities as appropriate to participate in those projects. As you are well aware, stormwater has a large role to take in our road funding. We also need to consider a thoroughfare plan to effectively manage the flow of traffic through this town as we continue to grow. The flow of traffic through this town is going to be particularly important. We'll handle for our road capacity. Widening roads is not always the best technique to effectively manage traffic flows, so we need to look at all options that are available to us.
So we can't afford a bridge across the lake?
I think a sky bridge across the lake is out of the question at this time. But we can maybe get the Army Corps engaged on that. In 30 years, we'll get the Army Corps engaged.
Over 30 years, it'll cost $100 million.
Keep going, Chris, I'm sorry.
Within the Parks Department, as you are aware, we have been approved for a $908,000 parks budget, so we need to properly implement that budget, monitor it effectively, staff that department up, create 5-year staffing plans, capital plans, and consider facilities. As I had mentioned, we're outgrowing this town hall as it is now, and with increased park staff, we're going to have to review facilities for their staff and for their equipment. And their projects include things like trails corridors, master planning, master comp plan updates, same thing with the master comp plan for the town, review of public-private partnership opportunities within the Parks Department, and increased parks amenities such as possible aquatic activities after the Lake Dredge project is done, and potential replacement of our band shell. The one we've got is nice, but I think we could do just a little better. Going on to finances, budgets, the Council Affairs Committee should meet periodically. The department head meetings that we hold will now also do quarterly reviews of budgets to make sure each department is properly and efficiently managing their budgets. Wages throughout all departments, we need to consider, again, leadership and certification and skill-based staff or the wage increases. And again, working on the town hall. Within economic development, I think we need to update our town comprehensive master plan to reflect potential future economic development within the 41 corridor and in other potential locations. We do have a Route 41 commercial corridor overlay that's been adopted by the Plan Commission. I believe there's going to be additional overlays that could be created, especially as we get past the lakefront or the Lake Dredge project. There's going to be increased desire for restaurants and businesses to be on the lake, and I believe with the expansion of the lakefront liquor licenses, we need to create a potential overlay district that helps capture and maximize those efforts. Potentially look at creating a economic development corporation funded through the TIF district, and we also need to continue to look at the potential TIF districts and utilizing those appropriately, especially now with the town council becoming the TIF district. We're going to see a flurry of activity happening through that board, and effectively managing those monies, RDC, to effectively manage those monies to meet the current projects and to meet economic development through the community. And then last but certainly not least, consider our relationship with vendors and consultants, where those vendors and consultants can fill skills and talent gaps within the current town staffing, and where they can augment what we need in order to accomplish the goals that we set forth. This is by no means a...
Is that it?
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
And that's why you hired them, right there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, every penny.
Well, thanks for keeping this ball rolling, Randy. That's,
Yeah,
Well,
definitely.
What this was about was to try and not limit what the council does, but to keep things focused on what's next, right? I mean, that's the challenge sometimes in these positions is, how do you keep everybody kind of in a set of guardrails and we're doing what we're supposed to be doing? And this was something that we actually adopted in 2020, and it was really effective.
Yeah.
And I thought, boy, this is an opportunity to update it and take you on through 2026 and be able to start checking these boxes, right?
Perfect.
Doing the stuff you're supposed to be doing, so.
Perfect timing, Randy.
That's great
Chris,
stuff.
thank you.
Yeah, good job, Chris. So you've heard the strategic plan presentation. Is there a motion by the council to adopt?
So
Make the
moved.
motion.
Motion by Ms. Stevens, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Sharp, discussion. Roll call.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
John Foreman?
Yeah.
Got
Julie
one.
Rivera?
Yes.
Rob Smithers?
Yes.
Colleen Scheven?
Yes.
Richard Sharp?
Yes.
Randy Neemeyer?
Yes, carried 7-0. Before we move to the next item, I wanted to go to Sue Hayes, our utility financial specialist. Myself, Chris, Dave, and actually the St. John's town manager, Mr. Wizawati, met with her at the AIM conference to talk about the really kind of looking at utilities as a whole, but looking more at stormwater because of its commitment to things like matching part of our community crossings grants. And some of the major projects we have in here in Cedar Lake are so stormwater heavy. So Sue, if you can step up and kind of give us just an update on where we're at looking at that 5-year pro forma and what we might need from a revenue standpoint to be able to accomplish some of those goals on our asset management plan.
Okay, in the short term, what we were looking at, and it is in your strategic plan, is obviously the MS4 fees. We had started the process of looking to increase them because we are losing money on that deal, when that means our rates are paying for them when they're not, they shouldn't. So we're looking, and since we've got new permit regulations, that is even more so. So we are going to ask you to approve some directions for us so that we can start the ball rolling on them. That is one of them. We would like to get with our Siebel engineer, Burke engineer, so that we can go forward with this, because we should not be losing money. It should be a
So to break that down, Sue, I think it was, we focused on capital infrastructure investment, right? And that was gonna be supported by the rate structure from a
Yes.
cash flow standpoint. We looked at capital equipment, which would also be a rate structure item, but then we looked at also utilizing the potential of stormwater impact fees as an additional revenue, because we don't get off the new construction while they're creating a stormwater footprint. We're not collecting anything but the $10 a month
Right.
to fund some of the investment to maintain the system, so.
It's the same theory as with your other utilities, with your system development charges, is your growth is paying for your impact.
So you call it
and
impact
growth.
fee or an SDC, same sort of
Yes,
thing, but looking to add that SDC on the stormwater side.
So we're not putting all the burden on the people that have lived here.
exactly, and that's what we're going to bring
Getting
forward.
funding
We want to
revenue.
go forward with getting our engineer involved in it, because that is a more technical calculation than just math.
How long has the state made that allowable?
It is a federal allowable. The EPA is, not a lot of places use it, but it is a federal, and it is a possibility, and we are looking for not impacting our ratepayer as much on that. Okay?
At first, the smaller communities weren't supposed to have to do it, but they ended up eventually putting us in it.
Well, the stormwater and the MS4 and all of that was an unfunded mandate.
Yes.
So what Sue is talking about, and what you're gonna need to consider from a policy standpoint is, enacting a rate schedule that matches the investment into our asset management plan / community crossings grants, right? So the revenue is paying for itself, We're gonna need to look at a restructuring of our crediting system. Right now, we give an automatic 20% ERU reduction to any commercial user. And if we repeal that, it'll have about a $65,000 to $70,000 impact on our cash flow right away. Right, there's certain things, and then you need to look at kind of a 5-year financial pro forma of how much do you change those rates based upon project capital needs.
Right.
Right, so we're staying ahead of it rather than waiting until the crisis point where the utilities broke and then enacting these policy measures to try and fill the gap while we're still trying to do projects.
And I will say that we did very well this year with the stormwater on the 3 CCMG projects that we did, Parish, Vermillion.
We've got it stretched now.
Yeah, but that's it right now, and I mean, we ended a little bit positive for it, but that's, we have to move forward on that. The other thing we're gonna look at too is sewer. Those rates were initially in 85, somewhere in there.
97.
Well, but the actual structure of them was created before that. And we're outgrowing that structure because we are servicing more of our own customers with water. And so we're going to have to do cost of service because our population, our customer base has changed. So that's one of the challenges that we want to do in 2023 because eventually growth won't cover all of the costs, and we don't want to fall behind on it.
Got it.
And water, of course, you're under the jurisdiction of the commission, so we've got budgets, we've got that. That is something that new council eventually may want to consider because that costs us $500,000 when we want to go back.
Yeah, the IURC thing's gonna be really important.
Yeah, no reason for us to be,
We're probably north of
there's no reason, we're just giving money away.
Probably north of $1 million on the combination of the new SDC formulations as well as the rate structure. We're in a 7-figure number to just meet the requirements of the IURC.
IURC is for for-profit water entities. It should not be for municipalities and
Or for
public government
municipalities
run
that
by
have
elected
weak
officials.
leadership.
So I want you guys to
Because
be
you guys
prepared
do not-
early in the year
Yeah.
to start tackling some of these
You bet.
policy initiatives, because if we continue on the path we're on with our utilities, our first thing is gonna be to put out the fire always, instead of doing the project.
Right.
And so if we're gonna stay ahead of this, replace old infrastructure, build new infrastructure, we gotta get more proactive on the policy-making side to do that.
And there'll be a capital budget brought to you within the first quarter of 2023 so that we can match it with our operational budget, and then you'll be able to see just where our holes are.
And that also ties into the overall asset management plan that we had done several years ago and have updated a couple times. How do you make that document an actual living document that you can actually start putting timelines and financial resources, attach them to projects so that you can actually complete the things instead of just talk about
That's why we hired Chris, right?
it.
Right up his alley, baby.
And the fees that we pay for going down there to the Indiana Regulatory Commission, the ratepayers have to pay for that.
Yes,
No, that's all ratepayers.
yep, that's
The
all
water,
right there.
water rate payers,
Water ratepayers, yes.
not people that have wells.
No.
Thank you, Sue.
Thank you, Sue.
Which makes it even more painful, quite honestly. It makes it even that much worse.
Yeah. Next, we have the year 2023 Austin Legal Services Agreement. Mr. Salatas.
I believe this is the same rate he's currently charging, so there'd be no change in this contract other than the dates.
Thank you. Motion by the council to approve.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Sharp, second.
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Rivera, discussion. Roll call.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
John Foreman?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Ralph Miller?
Yes.
Colleen Scheven?
Yes.
Richard Sharp?
Yes.
Randy Neemeyer?
Yes, motion carries 7-0.
Thank you, David. Great rate. We appreciate it very much. Thank you. Unbelievable.
He's kept up with inflation.
Yeah.
Not really.
Not quite. Not at all.
Item 4 is approved Chris Salatas, Town Manager, is the authorized signatory to execute all CCMG 2022-1, 2022 documents.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Form, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Rivera, discussion. Roll call.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
John Foreman?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Ralph Miller?
Yes.
Colleen Scheven?
Yes.
Richard Sharp?
Yes.
Randy Neiman?
Yes, carries 7-0. Reports, Town Council, Mr. Carnahan.
Only thing I wanna say, I wanna wish everybody a very Merry Christmas, and, hopefully we don't get that, blizzard.
I have an item, I spoke with Julie Zasada from the Cedar Lake Historical Association about the changeover to the utilities, the metering, if you will. She is looking for a little grace of time to implement this, and also there's gonna need to be some look at the contract, because the contract doesn't have clarity on it, according to her. So she has asked the council to consider giving her till October, because they can then get through the summer season and better budget for it. Then she said that right now they've already adopted their budget like we have, and that they would be at an operational deficit that this utility bills could take up about 15% of their operational budget. So they would have to raise some more money for it. She asked that I ask you for that consideration, so if you so choose, it can be on your next council agenda.
I think it's a good idea. They draw a lot of people in our community, and they've done a good job with that.
I think it'd be wise to get some input from Chris on where it's at in the process, what this means from a monetary standpoint, and how to craft that agreement with the museum to be updated to include the utility collections portion of it.
I will prepare a report for our next meeting in January.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you. Any other council reports? Town Attorney?
Brief report. We expect close on financing Series 2022A and 2022B on Thursday for the new police and fire station facilities. There's been a monumental effort over the past couple months, in the last month in particular. I don't know, Chris and I've worked on much else, to be honest with you, but it's gonna happen. We're gonna start the process for constructing those facilities. So,
Okay.
if you have anything to add to that, I think we're there.
We've got about,
It's over?
yeah, we'll be glad when it's over.
When it's over.
It'll be like that.
It's been a journey.
Yeah.
It's been a journey, it's like a marathon, and, but that's okay.
Like
We
the
started
first
this,
marathon,
we
we made
started
that.
this about 2 years ago, too.
Your
The
official
initial
first
discussions.
action was, December 7th last year.
Yeah, but the initial discussions were about 2 years ago.
Oh,
Absolutely.
yeah, thanks, Dave.
Nothing like overnight success. Clerk Treasurer?
I do anxiously await the closing of the bonds so that I can finally have the Summit Community 2 notice in hand for 2023.
Yeah, that'd be nice to get that news, right?
We wait anxiously with you.
Town Manager?
I wait anxiously. No report.
Director of Operations?
I have nothing other than Merry Christmas to everybody also.
Thank you, Merry
Thanks,
Christmas
Tim.
to you.
And the salt is stockpiled, the plows are ready, and you're excited about the.
Everybody is looking forward to spending their
We're gonna
Christmas in the plow truck.
Anywhere between 1 and 180 inches of snow.
Thank
It's
you.
global warming.
Right,
anything.
thank you.
Global warming, Randy.
Okay, thank you. Police Department.
I too wait anxiously for the budget, no. You got a copy of our monthly report, pretty much gonna close us out for the year, real close. Just shy of 12,000 calls for service, averaging nearly 35 calls a day. For the month, we had 86 citations, 365 state warnings, 355. We had a total of 19 arrests in the month of November, with 41 charges, and 315 total arrests for the year so far, with 574 total charges. And our Beards Battling Cancer has raised almost $2,000 in the first month and a half, so we're doing pretty good.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
good.
that's fantastic.
So we're gonna continue that into, till the end of February, see if we can reach that goal of $4,000 for, the kids of Northwest Indiana with cancer. Specifically, we have, I believe, 5 of them, living within our community. So hopefully by the end of it, I'm gonna talk to the director and see if we can do some kind of presentation with the council and maybe 1 or 2 of those kids if they're able to, just to show the support that they need, in their very tough struggle right now, so that we're here for them, so.
And is there a reason you didn't grow a beard with the rest of the guys?
Because I can't.
Fair enough.
I'm not.
Looks like a serial killer.
I'm growing a beard for him.
What did you say, Chief? You look like a serial?
He looks like a serial killer.
It's very splotchy, it's not my fault, it's my parents' fault. Somebody said put Rogaine on it, I said, no, I'm good. I'll be 50 next year, I don't need that.
Fire department.
Currently, if you look at your report, we're at 1,730 calls for the end of November. We will probably be very close to 2,000 calls, which is definitely up from last year. We had a few extra structure fires this year to note of, and our overdoses are up as well, so, but not by much, it's pretty average, so there's a few things that are notable. We're working on a response plan that will be put together in a PowerPoint presentation for once the second station is built on how we're gonna operate with the 2 stations. We'll look forward to having the Council and Public Safety Board review that prior to, or after, we get working on that with Chris and the staff on how that's gonna operate. The EOP, the Emergency Action Operations Plan for the town, the committee's been working on it, it's ready, it's done, but it's not done, it's close, it's in production, right, Bill?
It's, just being finished typed up so we can get it over to legal for their review, because it's gonna take a while, it's pretty long.
It's gonna take Dave the rest of the year to look at that one.
It's quite a few.
Yeah, which
It will.
I wanna hear it here before you tell everybody else.
Huh?
I wanna hear it here before you tell everybody else to.
It's pretty big, so it's gonna take a while.
It's gonna take a long time, so just to let you know.
We'll be working on it.
Yeah. Last thing is, we did our shop of the fireman, or firefighter, I should say, and took some kids to, get them some gifts for Christmas, and it was a pretty nice situation, very nice, deal, so, that's it.
Thank you, Chief. Building Department report, Christopher Burke, Engineering and Verity's report, Chris.
We had 242 new construction permits with 562 other permits for the year. You'll note that that's under what we did last year, but above what we budgeted for, so we're still doing well. Christopher Burke, we're just finishing out the last bit of our projects, getting ready for next year. And then for Veritas, finishing out a couple of the projects, working on some parks-related activities, notably public safety as well. David Rainey, myself, and Dave are on the phone probably at least 2-3 times a day, trying to make sure that we're on task and on time for that. And then they've been tasked with several redevelopment related items that are continuing to move forward as well.
Thank you. Public comment? Ladies? I saw you sitting out there.
Someday we'll have to come here and just sit and not talk.
That's
no fun.
That'll freak you out. Yvonne Taves, 1351828. I wanted to apologize for my behavior at the last meeting, to everybody, all the town council people and all of the other department heads, and especially the police chief Fisher.
People get emotional, Yvonne, it happens.
My anger and frustration has been building over the property, and it got the better of me, and I sincerely regret that. Todd?
Yes.
Your EMTs, I appreciate them for their work with my neighbor across the road, the elderly gentleman. They were there quite a few times the last few days. A very touchy situation, but I appreciate them, the way they handled him and everything. And this is from way out in left field. I'm not real happy with our garbage pickup service. Not the company itself, but how they do it. Every time when they pick up, because they do the automatic thing, right, where they pick it up and it goes like this, on windy days, when they're picking up recycling, all they're doing is littering the neighborhood with all the loose paper stuff. And I'm real tired of when the glass doesn't make it into the truck and we end up with broken glass in the streets. And it happens every time they pick up the recycling. Usually the weeks when it's just garbage is not a problem, but the recycling thing is just, basically they're littering the neighborhood when they pick up the recycling. I'm not really
So
happy.
you live in a spot where they have a flat area that they can do that also, right? The same with me. I just end up
Chris,
picking
would
it
you
all
note
up.
that and maybe bring that to the attention of Doug Rosenbaum with Republic?
I don't know what they can do about it, especially the paper on windy days, but that's kind of stupid. Quite honestly, that's, we're trying to clean up the neighborhood.
You've never shied away from sharing your opinions with us, so thank you.
Yeah, that's one of my problems. People tell me I'm too honest. And they're probably right, that's why I'm not doing that well in life.
Is there any other public comment? Hello, Sharon.
Hi, Sharon Greenwald, 7613 West 135th Place. I would like some clarification on November 8th. I received a citation because my car had no plates. It was also listed as abandoned. I went in, I paid the citation. It was $50. That was on November 8th. On November 28th, I got a second citation. And on December 14th, I got a third citation. The car was already gone. I had it picked up and sold. And that's 3 citations within 30 days. Now, I don't know if that's right or if that's normal, but it doesn't really seem to me to be that much time to comply, even though the car was gone. And I have another question. Across the street from me at 13519 Lee, we all know how many nuisance things are there with the garbage, with no electricity, no water, there's animals in the house. I want to know if they're getting citations every 2 weeks, like I am. And mine was already paid. I understand this house is just pending under unsupervised estate, and I think that it's really not fair here, and something should be straightened out.
Sharon, I'll turn to Chief Fisher. As far as the citations for the car, every day that the car is there is considered another violation, and we can write a citation to it daily if needed.
Okay, so it's $50 every day?
It could be. Hence the reason we try to work with the public to ensure that it gets taken care of. I know that when we were out there looking at your neighbor's property across the street, the car was still sitting in the same location that
Yes,
has
it
been
left the
sitting
same day.
for quite some time. And so, after the first citation, you understood what the violation was and what had to be done. So I can't answer.
Are other people, though, being cited this many times in a month?
If they don't correct it, I could show you quite a few of them that.
I've already asked, and they have not been cited
Who
in
did you
2
ask?
weeks. I'm not gonna say their names.
Neighbors?
Yes.
Okay.
And they have not been cited. I don't intend on paying this. I paid once.
You have the right to go to court. That's
Oh, I'm
fine.
going to.
That's fine.
I paid once. In 2 weeks more, another $100. I feel like I'm being singled out. And it's probably from being here and complaining and just like from the roads and all the other stuff. But that's fine.
As far as the neighbor across the street, we have issued multiple citations at that location. But obviously, you and Ms. Dave's big issue was getting it cleaned up.
It's not
So
cleaned
when we went there, I went there with a gaggle of people, as you saw, to ensure that it was being taken care of. And significant improvement has taken place, maybe not perfect yet. There's definitely no electric. You can talk to the building department about that. They're not allowing them any access for living there until it is brought up to code. So we are on top of it.
They have been staying there. Who do I notify?
If they're
They are
staying
there at
there,
night.
then call the police to let us know.
Okay.
They can be there at night working on it, but they're
No,
not allowed to sleep
overnight.
there. So,
Yeah, and I have a concern because I don't believe anybody on this town council would like to have that structure across the street from their house. I really believe that things would move a little bit quicker if you had to look at it and you had to look at it. It's deplorable. I don't understand why we let these buildings go on and on. I'm just here asking.
So there's a process that we undertake there, and unfortunately, or fortunately, the Constitution protects them for a period of time. So there's a process that it has to go through for an unsafe building.
They don't
It
own
has
it,
to go
though.
for legal review. Our attorney has to take it, or one of his attorneys has to take it to the courts to show a reason why. So it is all in the process. Since everything went down, it just takes time, and I know that that's not what you want to hear based on the problems you've had at that residence in the past with the gentleman that's now in jail, but I can only tell you that we're trying the best we can.
We have been very successful with that process in the past, so as it plays out, it'll get better.
I understand that, and I agree with that, but on the other hand, right across the street is another building, a house, that I've been looking at for years and years and years that I know is not up to code, that nothing's ever been done about. You know, I try by myself, I try to maintain my property, I try to pay all my bills, and all that. I expect everybody else to do the same. That's all I want. So, I mean, why should my property value go down because of these people? I mean, why am I singled out that, oh, well, let her property value go down, let his go down because of a couple of bad apples? So, I mean, I guess it just sucks to be me in that subdivision.
Thank you, Sharon. Any other public comment? Third call. Public comment is closed. Before we go to special presentation, presentation award from Mr. Salatas, this is my last meeting here, so thank you. It's been a fun 12-year ride here. I was sitting at the kitchen table the other night and thinking about, could I sit down and list some of these things that we've done together here and work as a team. And it's a pretty long list, not patting myself on the back, but it's really cool that we've been able to do what we've done here in Cedar Lake. And I remember my first year when I started, we had to borrow from our sewer utility just to pay bills. And now we start these years with healthy cash balances, and we're talking tonight about, you know, really constructing our utility business models and being very proactive in how we accomplish the projects that matter to the people. And to be a part of these things and to have the voters of this community 3 times elect me to this office has been humbling. And I started off kind of shot out of a cannon, like a steamroller. And if my county council future colleagues are watching, I won't be that steamroller. I learned my lesson. But I will be fairly aggressive because that's just who I am. But you gave me a chance to grow up here, the voters did, and the people of this community, and the council and the staff, and really learn. And you've put me in a position to grow my leadership skills and to be your council president for 10 of these 12 years. It's something I can't describe how much it has meant to me and what it's done to help my own growth as a person. I have a lot of faith in all of you that you will carry this on and continue to succeed. And I appreciate the support of my friends here. Jennifer, you have grown so much as a professional, and I'm happy to have been a part of that journey with you, and appreciate what you contribute to the community. Colleen, your enthusiasm on the council has been awesome. you're kind of our organizer.
Thank you.
And keeping, the fun things that we're supposed to be doing, front and center. Julie, your calm leadership and what you've offered to some tense situations, maybe that's your background in social work that's, kind of kept us all calm at times when things have been a little stressed. And, you've always helped to keep us on track when there's a lot of different moving parts where people have a lot of disagreements, so thank you for that. Rick, you've stepped up to the plate in so many ways, utilizing your skill as a CPA, to offer so much insight in the budgeting process and, planning some of these big projects and contributing on the, plan commission and unsafe building, and wherever you've been asked to step up, you've done so thank you for that.
Thank you, Ray.
Ralph, you are our goodwill ambassador.
Hey, we need one, dude.
The breakfast diplomat. I mean, when there's things going on in town where there's lots of rumors going around and things like that, Ralph always gets his finger on the pulse and goes and has breakfast with folks, and everything miraculously just calms down. John, your energy is something that I'm amazed by sometimes. Maybe it's the salesman in you that brings it to the table, but you're never short of ideas. You always have something positive to lend to every discussion, a big vision, right? I mean, the lake project is an example of that. You have relentlessly pursued that remedy, and here we are, right? We're doing this thing together. Bob, Mr. Cedar Lake, you've been a tremendous backbone of this council, and we always knew that we could count on you to be the one guy when we were all frazzled that was the nice guy, right? We could always lean on Bob to look at things in a little different light. Your experience here and your connection to the people is so valuable, and I don't know if it's some kind of a record that you've set for most years served on a council in the state of Indiana, but you've got to be getting close. So congratulations to you on another election, and I look forward to seeing you succeed another 4 years here. Chris, it's been a good year working with you. We started kind of drinking from the fire hose, right, with throwing you into a lot of stuff that needed to be done and wasn't done. And you've been checking things off the list, putting in 60, 70-hour weeks every week, going above and beyond the call of duty, and thank you for that. Chief Fisher, I've known you since we played Little League, and I'm proud that you're our chief. I think you've offered a little different style of leadership to the police department. I can see the officers are really starting to respond to your style and your demeanor, and it's a safe community. I know that you have a great passion for this community, and it shows in how you handle your business on a day-to-day basis, and I've enjoyed working with you. Chief Wilkening, I appreciate your trust. 2013 was a big year when we made that transition and brought the fire department into the town, and I think we both lived up to what we said we would do. And building this fire station is kind of the stamp on it. You have 2 stations up and running, and I remember sitting in that meeting with you and your dad and your brother and the whole volunteer entity, and we talked about the first priority was staffing. We wanted boots on the ground, then we were going to work on equipment, and then we were going to work on facilities. And here we are at that third part of it, only 10 years later, but we're getting there. So thanks for trusting me with that duty, and I hope that I've met those expectations.
You definitely have.
Tim, thank you for cleaning this place up a little bit. We were in disarray when you came in and took all the hats, because I think you were wearing just about all of them at one time. And you still do at times. But people drive around Cedar Lake and they comment on its beauty and the difference. I mean, if someone hasn't visited here in 30 years, the difference that they see, and the organization and how it looks so professionally run, and that's a reflection on you. You've done a great job also with purchasing used gems of equipment, dressing them up, getting them out on the road. It looks like we all kinds of new stuff, but you bought it at a bargain price, so your ability to find value has been greatly appreciated here, and thank you for all of your hard work and tireless effort. It's appreciated. Dave, 2009, I started on the RDC. You kind of took me under your wing and showed me some things about government and how public finance works, and really served as a mentor to me through this process, so I appreciate that. I can never repay you for it. Sue, I'll miss our 11 o'clock at night, 1 hour call, talk about crap. We're talking about. Right, we talked about sewer a lot, and stormwater, and all those flashy things that we love in government. Again, your knowledge of finance and many, many years of experience helped me to learn how all of this puzzle fits together. And really, all of you here have been such a tremendous support to me in my journey here, and I'm forever grateful for this opportunity.
Good job, Randy.
Thank you, Randy.
I would just like to say, I think on behalf of the council and all the community members that have seen Randy in action, from year 1, year 2, he had pizzazz, he had passion, and it wasn't just day 1, he's going to do this, and day 2, he's going to do that, but he was passionate for the local government, state government. He was the guy that found the statute that we needed in the heat of the moment, and it was never a doubt in my mind that this was a stepping stone for Randy on to bigger and better things. So Randy, again, on behalf of the council, congratulations on your win. You're going to help all of Lake County like you've helped all of us, and we appreciate your service.
And God help them.
Well, thank you. It's no stepping stone. This is a tremendous part of my life, and really enjoyed it. And I just can't say thank you enough for the opportunity. Anybody that serves in government should know where they stand in this world. So there's 519,682 politicians in the United States of America. Of that, 135,531 of them serve in city or town government, out of 331 million. It's a pretty big responsibility. Nick, that's your responsibility now, okay? Carry it with pride, do this with honor, okay? This is a serious business here. People are entrusting you with their day-to-day lives. So one of 58,818 is what I'll be serving in county office with Commissioner Tippy there. These are big responsibilities, and the founders would have it no other way. So I hope that all of you take that seriously and realize your place in history. So, again,
Mr. President, for the last time, I'd like to say, Mr. President, first of all, you know, my father spent a lot of years in the fire department, 50 years. 10 years ago, you beat him for the position, and 12 years ago, I'm sorry. He made a statement that night.
I remember it.
And he said that Cedar Lake won tonight, after my father was beat by Randy. He shook his hand and said Cedar Lake won, and he has not ever been so wrong in his life, I can just tell you.
No sense of stopping that.
So it continues.
On behalf of the Cedar Lake Fire Department, Randy's been instrumental in helping our department grow. We've got new equipment, more personnel, like he said. We're in the process of building a new fire station. We just ordered a brand new fire truck. And the apple don't fall far from the tree, because not only was Randy instrumental in getting us this new truck, his father just got us a new truck with the trustee's office. So their commitment in the family itself to the fire services has been amazing over the years, and we really appreciate the Niemeyer family for that.
Don't forget great Uncle Ernie,
And Ernie started the Lake County Fire Chiefs Association, which I was proudly served for many years as the president of. And he was by far the grandfather of all that, so.
Yeah.
Our new fire truck will be stationed on this side of the lake. The number will be 1411. The 14 stands for the station, and the 11 is the actual engine number. So fire engines in Lake County, Indiana, if you ever see a fire engine, you see it says, the first two numbers identify the fire department, the last two numbers identify what type of truck it is for the fire department. So in this particular case, it's gonna be an engine. So I'd like to give Randy an ID shield that the Cedar Lake Fire Department we had made up, that goes on the front of a helmet, but it has the schematics of the actual truck. He was instrumental in helping us get this truck, as well as all of you were, but unfortunately, or fortunately, you're not leaving yet, so.
Chief, I think the first one is what you meant.
Randy's leaving.
When you got leave.
Yes, you gotta go down the road. But anyways, I'd like to present this with Randy on behalf of the fire department.
This was only $1 million. It was just another day of $5 on it, so it's. No, it's now we have the man in the red velvet.
I'd like to roll out the red carpet.
Ornament baby.
Unfortunately, this first item is a formality, so please bear with me. We, the God-fearing residents of the town of Cedar Lake, having been duly notified of the results of the certified election held on November 8th, the year of our Lord, 2022, and whereas we have now been informed that Randall Niemeyer will be seated on the Lake County Council representing the 7th District at noon, January 1st, the year of our Lord, 2023, and under the full authority and statutes of the United States of America, do hereby serve this eviction notice. Now therefore, let it be known that the town manager and chief of police of the town of Cedar Lake do hereby proclaim the 20th day of December, 2022, as Randy Niemeyer, notice of eviction day. Please serve.
Moratorium on
Now for the presentation.
Well, I don't know if you can top that. I appreciate that. That's great.
With heartfelt gratitude, the town council, the town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana, does hereby present this award on the 20th day of December, 2022, to Randy Niemeyer, in recognition of your leadership skills and forward-thinking vision during your dedicated service on the town council for 3 terms. 10 of those years as town council president. The town and its residents will enjoy a richer community because of your unwavering and tireless devotion.
Thank you.
Nice job. Very nice. Good job, Chris. Good job, Chief.
Well, thanks for all the pomp and circumstance. I never did this for that. One last parting word to the council, and my dad actually provided me with this on my desk yesterday at work, and there was something I underlined here. It's, good government also serves and seeks the good of the people. In Romans 13:4, Paul said, and I quote, "It is a minister of God to you for good," end quote. When government fulfills its divinely ordained purpose, it serves the people. But when government strays beyond its boundaries, then it is serving itself. Don't ever forget that. Amen.
I like it.
Serve the people.
Yeah.
Very good, very pertinent.
Any other comments?
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
I got one. It's getting bedtime.
Hey, you raised comes on.
With that, I adjourn my final meeting. This meeting's adjourned.